The following broadcast is brought to you by the iGolf Sports Network. The Women of Golf show is sponsored by the iGolf Sports Network and Golf Tips magazine. iGolf Sports is a live stream broadcast and media production company providing quality programming designed to attract the golfing enthusiast. And Golf Tips, the game's most in-depth instruction magazine, with insightful reviews on the latest equipment, tips from top teaching professionals, helping you improve your game from tee to green. Good morning, welcome to the Women of Golf, the #1 women's golf show around the world, with host Ted Odorico and Cindy Miller. Join them as they interview some of the best players from the Epson, LPGA and Legends Tour, and so many others helping to elevate women's golf. So without further ado, here are your hosts, Ted and Cindy.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Season 12 of the Women of Golf Show. I'm Ted Odorico, and right alongside of each and every week, of course, is none other than Legends Tour player and LPGA professional Cindy Miller, and we are your hosts here on the Women of Golf. Good morning, Cindy.
Good morning.
She's holding back. I know she wants to let me have it. Anyways, we got a great show for you this morning. We're going to be joined here by our very special guest, Yana Wilson, the latest winner of the Epson Tour. And then a little bit later on, you and I, Cindy, are going to dip our toes once again back into the No B.S. zone. And we're going to talk about an article I recently did for Golf Tips magazine, which is what is the 80-20 rule in golf. We'll talk about that. It's a very interesting discussion. So you want to make sure you stick around for that. But let me tell you about our very special guest here. She is joined the Epson Tour actually this year as a rookie year in 2025. And already has 2 Epson Tour victories under her belt and many top 10 finishes. The 2025 Reliance Matrix Championship was her first win. And then this past weekend, the Dream First Bank Charity Classic, which has now launched her into the #1 position ahead of Melanie Green and Gina Kim in the race for the card. So, Cindy, let's welcome our very special guest and latest winner from the Epson Tour, Yana Wilson.
Good morning, dear.
Good morning. Thank you guys so much for having me on here.
Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you.
So what's this? I got to ask before we start, what's the star? I see a star or something.
It
On
is,
your
yeah.
cheek.
I have acne, so it's just to like cover it up.
I'll
Yeah.
blot that one out of the thing. So
Yeah.
embarrassing.
Yeah.
Sorry. I thought it was a team thing or something like that.
Oh, no. I always get asked, but yeah, it's just like a patch that I just put on my face, so it'll heal without it being open. You know what I mean?
Got it. Yeah. See, we didn't have that when I was growing up. We just we
My
had it
daughter
just
gave me one of
shine.
those. I had one of those, and my daughter gave me
Really?
one. I'm like, oh my God, this is great. Why
Yeah.
didn't they have
Yeah.
that when I was little?
Yeah, it's a game changer, especially when you're playing like sports and stuff. So
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's cool. So you can always blow it off and say, oh, it's my favorite team, and it's or something
see?
like that. So
Yeah.
Everyone
go.
her age knows what it is, though, Ted.
I know that's just
Yeah.
shows my age.
True.
So, Cindy, I'm going to let you go ahead and congratulations again, Yana, on your second win of the season. But Cindy, go ahead. I know you got some questions for her.
So I need to ask a question. They used to have it if you won 3 tournaments, you automatically get moved up to the tour, the
Mhm.
LPGA Tour. And I heard and we learned that that's no longer the case. So
Mhm.
if I were you and Gina and Melanie, not that it matters now because you're all going up to the LPGA Tour, I would fight for that. But now you have 3 tournaments left, yes?
Mhm.
How important is it that you guys stay 1, 2, 3?
I would say it's pretty important. I'm honestly not too big on like the rankings game. And I never really have been. I just know that like my goal this year was to get inside, 1 through top 10 for the card. But yeah, I'm just trying to play the best golf that I can out there and hopefully, just um get that like have that #1 spot by the end of the season.
You mentioned you've been playing well all year, and this is your
Mhm.
rookie season. And forgive me for not reading the bio, but where'd you play college golf?
I actually just graduated high school last year.
Get out
So
of town,
yeah, I
you
just came
little
straight out
brat.
here.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
No.
I just turned 19 like a couple days ago.
Wow, belated happy birthday.
Come
Thank
on.
you. Yeah.
And are you from Las Vegas?
Yeah, born and raised.
How cool is
Well,
that? I get
the
to fly
odds are
out
with
there
her,
in
that's
a
for
couple
sure.
weeks. I got to do a corporate outing in a couple weeks.
Really?
And
Where are you playing?
we're not even playing golf. It's their 35th
Oh,
anniversary. And I got a choice to get a massage, to go race car driving, to do a helicopter ride to the Grand Canyon. So what should I do? Should I do the race car
ooh,
driving? Because I get a lot of speeding tickets, and I'm a little afraid of helicopters. So
yeah.
I should do the race car driving, but then I thought I could kill myself.
No, I think it's pretty safe. It depends. I think there's like two spots where they could take you. I'm not too familiar with it because I mean, I just play golf when I'm here, but yeah, the race car driving sounds like fun. I would say the helicopter thing sounds a little sketch. I don't know. But
Right? Because what if
yeah,
the guy makes a stupid move and I croak? But I've
yeah,
never seen the Grand Canyon.
yeah. I mean, it kind of just depends on what you would want to do, but
Yeah, I'd like to go
yeah,
really fast.
I think that's probably your
Right?
best option.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because again, when you play the tour, what you never do anything fun,
Yeah.
right? They're like,
So
"Oh, did
true.
you go see this?" I'm like, "No, I never saw anything. I saw the golf course
Yeah.
and the hotel and
Yeah,
a few malls
seriously.
because I do like retail therapy." Do you like retail therapy?
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah, you have to do that. Ted, do you
Yeah.
like retail therapy?
Anyways,
No, he doesn't. So Ted, piss
What?
on you. We're going to talk over
yeah,
here. You can
yeah, go
turn your
ahead.
camera off.
Let me jump in real quick before you continue on. I want to correct you because I think you may be wrong on this. You said something about that when you got 3 events, you might automatically get bumped up to the LPGA, and I think that still is in play because I saw something recently online for Gina Kim. She's automatically now been bumped into the LPGA because of her 3rd win. So I think that still does apply. I could be wrong, but I saw something recently on social media that she did automatically get bumped to the LPGA, even though the season's not done yet. So I think
Wow.
I think it may still be. So you got to win another tournament, and then you're going to be automatic. You're going to get
Well,
there anyways. But
does she care at this point, Ted?
yeah, no, I
No.
know. Well, hey,
So
never
now I have
counts.
more questions. You can
Go
talk in
ahead.
a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah.
So this is a big one.
hmm
Why do you like this so much?
Why do I like golf so much?
Yeah. Why are you so good at such a young age?
I would say I'm very competitive and I'm very driven to win. Um, I set really high goals for myself and, you know, I just try to achieve them. And, sometimes I don't, but the outcome of, trying to achieve that goal is like has made me do a lot of other cool things and yeah, I just like winning and I'm very competitive, so and I work really hard. So I would say that's kind of like my key to success so far.
Do your parents play golf?
My dad used to play. He actually taught me how to play. But my mom picked it up for like a year or two and then she kind of dropped it, but yeah, we all used to golf as a family and she actually got pretty good. But yeah, that was fun.
So how did you start?
So my dad would always go to the driving range when I was a little kid, and I was like, I always wanted to go with him and just kind of know where he's going or what he's doing, because I'd always see him like, take his clubs and then be back or come back after hours. So I asked him to take me, and at first he was like, "No, you're gonna be too loud and you're gonna cause too much chaos on the course because you're gonna be frustrated that you can't hit the ball or whatever." And um after like a couple, I think it was maybe a couple weeks or months of like asking him, he finally took me and he gave me, I had like a large bucket of balls and he had a large bucket of balls and he was, practicing and I was just trying to tee up driver and like could not hit the ball. I like kept trying to swing at it. So my whole bucket was full still, but um yeah, that's kind of how I got into it. And then later on, he kind of threw me into tournament golf pretty fast. Once I started learning how to hit the ball, but The only downside was I learned driver first and I didn't know how to chip or putt. So I would drive every green and I'd end up like making a 10 if I was in a bunker because I didn't know how to get out of it. So, but
But you
yeah.
didn't quit.
No, I wanted to get better. I would say it's one of, well, I want to be good at everything, but I would say golf was one of the things that stood out mainly in my life that I really wanted to get better at.
And you don't know why.
No, I don't. I mean, no, I really don't. I just really enjoy competing.
She's just driven.
Yeah,
I think
with
she's just,
anything really.
her personality is just a driven personality, and she just, wants to go for it, no matter what
Are
she's
you
doing.
detail oriented?
I would say so. I've definitely become more detail oriented these last couple years. I would say I wasn't as detail oriented in my like early amateur career. Just because I had my parents always there with me and just kind of telling me like what to do and helping me with my swing and stuff. So now that I'm kind of on my own or I've been on the road, definitely I've definitely noticed that I've had to become more detail oriented, and I feel like it definitely started a lot this year. And my practice is pretty much the same, my routine is the same. So I'd say I'm definitely detail oriented now.
Did you travel alone this year or somebody go with you?
My dad went most of the time, but he didn't really come out to the course much. But yeah, he kind of just stayed at home and like cooked breakfast and did laundry when I was away. So he made it easy. Yeah, it was
Wow.
nice.
No caddy? Just you did it on your own?
Yeah, I did have a caddy for me the first, I would say, the first half of the year, and then now I don't have a caddy for the next 3 events, so I have to figure that one out. But
Bad.
yeah, normally I'll bring a caddy with me. We'll see.
Dad could be the caddy.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know if he'll want to.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been good.
That's great. You can
Yeah.
talk now, Ted. I'll let
Oh,
you.
well, thank you. I'm glad that I can squeeze a few questions in here. So I guess I can't ask you anything about college and that because you haven't gone. You're still just finishing, or you just finished up high school and that. So do you have plans at all to do any sort of college, even if it's done sort of on the side or night courses or whatever, or are you just going to sort of skip that for now and just focus on your golfing career?
My plan is just to skip that for now and then focus on golf. But definitely later on in life, I'd like to study something that I'm interested in and go back to college and yeah, figure that all out.
Well, you're doing great. So yeah, I don't blame you. I watched an interesting video actually this morning, and you were doing you called it, I believe, the UCLA speed drill
Yeah.
on the putting surface. I know you can't demonstrate it because of how we're doing this format, but maybe you could tell us a little bit about how did that come about? Why is it called the UCLA speed? I think I have that correct, speed drill,
Yeah, the
right?
speed drill.
Um,
Yeah.
how did you come about that? And that's something that you said in the video that you do before you play. So what does it help
Mhm.
you do, just for the listeners? What does it help you do, and how does it help you prepare for when you're going out on the course to play? Give us the scoop.
Yeah, so that speed drill actually first came about when I was 11 years old and I went to like a UCLA golf camp for like it could have been for like recruiting or whatnot, but it's just like so you go to UCLA, you get to meet some of the players, and this is during the summer, so it's a summer camp. And they'll kind of just show you the way of like college golf and just talk to you about, all kinds of college golf stuff. I'm not sure, but I was young, but um the head coach at the time, Carrie, she taught us that drill that she had her women's team doing, and it just stuck with me, and I basically did it ever since. So it's like you put a tee down like a foot and a half past the hole, and then you take another tee, and then you pace it from the front edge of the hole, and you go 5 paces, so 15 feet back this way. And put the tee down. You have 2 balls, and you put them down, and then you try to get the ball within the front edge of the hole and then the tee. And then I kind of added that I have to finish on the high side because I feel like I tend to aim more at the hole and sometimes it'll break away. So that was kind of like an extra little challenge for me. So you hit those 2 balls, and if you make it within that, you have to do it 2 times in a row. You move back another pace, so to 6 paces, and then you do the same thing, and then you go basically all the way to 30 feet, so 10 paces.
So
And that's just always helped me. Sorry.
no, I was just going to say, so that obviously helps you at various different distances and that gauge your speed. So when you get out in the golf, because obviously you're not going to get the same length of putt every time. And do you think
Yeah.
that that's something, that particular drill that you're doing, and I think it's a great one, that a lot of amateurs could maybe use in their practice? Because you know as well as I do, and your dad might have been one of these guys where they go up and they kind of just rake and hit balls, and they don't really get into a good, practice flow, if you will. Is that a drill that you would recommend for a lot of amateurs to maybe incorporate in their practice sessions?
Yeah, absolutely. It helped the speed of my putting so much, just as a kid, and it really helped my touch and my feel. Especially putting on new greens every week. I feel like that's the first drill that I do because, adjusting to different grass and different green speeds is hard. So, I think that's definitely my go-to drill, for, just for getting used to the speed of the greens.
I think it's a good one. Let me ask you,
Yeah.
because just to follow up a little bit about college, because you didn't go to college, you didn't have that experience of playing on a women's golf team. Um,
hmm
you obviously had some exposure in other ways, but do you think that that was something that you were able to overcome? Let me explain what I mean by that. A lot of the other
hmm
players that we've interviewed have gone and come from playing on a women's golf team, so they kind of have used to playing under that pressure and that. And I know you said you played in a lot of junior tournaments now, so you obviously understand what pressure is about. But do you
hmm
think that was an experience in some ways that was an advantage for you in some ways, but maybe a disadvantage as well? What do you think?
To me, I think it was an advantage just because,
Mhm.
in my opinion, I feel like junior golf is more similar to professional golf just because you're on your own. And I would say I was pretty independent as a junior golfer.
Mhm.
Like I would travel sometimes alone to some events. My dad was there too. But like I would, push my own cart or have to pick my own clubs and basically caddy for myself. So just learning how to deal, with just being by yourself on the golf course and, not having like a coach there with you um all the time, I guess, or like other teammates there because I do feel like golf is a very individual sport.
Mhm.
So I feel like it was honestly easier just to make that transition from junior to professional because you are kind of by yourself out there. Well, you have a caddy, but if you don't have a caddy, you are by yourself out there.
Well, you're
So,
playing by yourself, and that's an interesting analogy, and I'm glad you went there, because that's exactly what I was going to say. Is on one hand,
mhm,
now I'm sure there's a lot of fun and camaraderie that you have on a women's golf team, but at the same time, there's been a lot of players that we've had on that played, with some of the best women players that are now on the LPGA tour in their college
mhm,
team. But one of the challenges they had was then transitioning from that, being in a team format, to all of a sudden they're on their own again. And
yeah,
so you obviously were able to skip that and say, okay, I'm used to already being on my own. So I know when I come out in the Epson Tour and get ready to work towards the LPGA, I already know what it's like to be on my own. I don't have to do any transition because I've already been playing on my own. I have one more question, then I'm going to throw it back to you, Cindy. How old were you when you first beat your dad on the golf course? I know there was a competition somewhere back in your
yeah.
repertoire, and you beat dad. And how long was it afterwards that he started talking to you again?
So truly, it was. 11 years old, and it was an after-school match. But it was a 9-hole match, so he's like, it doesn't count.
Oh, yeah.
But we played from the same tees, and I ended up beating him, so that was pretty cool. But 18-hole match, it was not long after that. Like, I don't remember exactly when. It could have been like maybe 12, maybe like closer to the end of my 11 years, but yeah, it was around then.
Wow. So did he stop
Yeah,
talking
and
to
he's
you
a
for a
pretty
little
good
while?
player.
Yeah, he must have stopped talking to you for a week at least.
No. It was all friendly. It was
Yeah,
good.
that's, I'm sure that all kidding aside, I'm sure that was a very proud moment for him because, he obviously saw something in you
Mhm.
that this was, that little bug bit you, the golf bug bit you. And he said, okay, I think she could do really well. And knowing your personality, that you're somebody that sort of pursues things, and gives it your all. I think
Mhm.
he just said, you know what, I'm going to let her go and be the best that she can be. And the fact that you beat him at such a young age really just reinforced his belief in you. So I think that's fantastic. But yeah, I think that's cool. 11 years old.
Yeah.
It'll be a day when he'll reflect back on that and he'll say, I wonder if I had done this. But the 9-hole thing, I don't know. I'm going to call him out on that. That 9-hole thing, no.
Yeah.
9 holes, 18 holes, it doesn't matter. You beat dad. So Cindy, go ahead.
Straight up. Yeah.
And he doesn't play much anymore?
Not anymore, but he used to play a ton,
He's cooking her breakfast all
when I
the
was
time. That's
younger.
why he's cooking her breakfast and he's doing the laundry. So
Yeah.
it's happening.
We're on the road.
That's great. That's
Go ahead,
great.
Cindy.
Yeah.
I think you made the right decision because,
I do too.
like you said, you're out there by yourself and you went to
Mhm.
some junior tournaments by yourself
Yeah.
and you're very mature for your age
Oh yeah.
and you don't need any other voices in your head. And it
Mhm.
sounds like your dad and your mom have just let you be yourself.
Yeah.
And I think some of these other players have too many voices in their head chirping away, and you
Mhm.
know exactly what you want. And it's like, put the fence up around this and keep the house safe,
Mhm.
and just go
Yeah.
do what you need to do for what you want, right?
Yeah,
And just
exactly.
leave everybody else outside the house. Lock the fence
Mhm.
up,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. So what do you do for fun?
Whew. Well, like you said earlier, I love retail therapy.
Me
That's like
too.
probably one of my my favorite hobbies, but maybe not so good on my wallet, but I love
That's all right. That's all right.
shopping.
You got to do it.
But
You got to do it.
yeah, I
We
would
used
say
to
other
have,
than
so my
that,
husband and I, he played on tour too. He played on
yeah,
tour. He's better than me. He played in the Masters 5 times. But we used to have this book with all the outlet malls in the country. And so
really.
yeah, so we drove to tournaments and I'm like, oh, there's one coming up, and we'd stop. We got to play in a Legends tour. So I play on the Legends tour and
Yeah.
he's got to do a clinic with Jan Stevenson next week. And I'm like, oh,
Mhm.
goody, we get to go to the outlet mall in Boston. Right? I
Oh
mean,
my
how sick is
goodness.
that, right?
That is so funny.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
real
would
sick.
definitely be me on
Yeah.
tour.
But, what else are you going to do? Because we don't go race car driving or see the Grand Canyon. So it's like,
Right?
right?
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
boring
Yeah,
golf
for
course.
sure.
What
But
else?
I
There's
would
got to be
say,
something else.
yeah, other than that, I like to work out a lot and I do Pilates for fun. Um,
Ooh,
just because I like the atmosphere in the gym that I go to, and it's just a fun workout, and I like doing things that help me improve and get better every single day. So anything I do, like any hobby that I have, is to help me grow as a person. So I would say, yeah, Pilates is probably one of my favorite hobbies to do outside of golf.
cool. Have you gotten lots of
Yeah.
sponsors?
Sponsors? Yeah. Yeah, I do. I have a few. I have ADP on the hat, Mizuho on the sleeve, Liberty National on here, and then I have Lululemon um, for a clothing sponsor, which is pretty sweet.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, they're not
yeah,
cheap either.
especially if I love, yeah, right. Especially if I do, if I like to do Pilates and they'll send me clothes for, doing yoga and Pilates, and then I'll get my golf shipment, and it's like I have everything. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That saves on the retail therapy.
Right?
Yeah. You can get other stuff.
Oh,
Yay.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
What
I'm,
else?
So,
What's the best part of your game?
so I'd say right now, obviously I've come off of a win. I would say I don't really have a weakness in my game right now. But normally my ball striking is always solid, like my irons. Um, and I'm always trying to improve on my putting, so that's like my next big goal is to get really good at putting, like best in the world putter. So
Cool.
still trying to
What do
figure
you
that
work
one out
on?
though. Um, kind of just like the energy I walk into when I'm hitting a putt. Like I'm just like trying to get this ball in the hole and just obviously not let my head get in the hole before the ball does, but just yeah, just have that really good energy of, like I got this, like let me show you guys what I can do and just trying to get that in there, get the ball in the hole. And I've also been working with that on like every club, and I feel like I just started working on it a week ago, so obviously it's worked because I just won last week, but yeah, that's kind of like the mental part of golf that I'm like working on right now.
Do you work with somebody on your mental game?
I do. Steven Yellen. I'm
Yeah,
okay.
not sure.
he's
Yeah,
good.
yeah. He's really good. But
Tempo and stuff.
yeah, he's helped me a ton. So we started working mid-season. It was when we had a 3 tournament stretch in Michigan, and I started working with him during the first tournament, and I like automatically loved it. And um I was doing the fluid motion factor program that he has created. So um I just loved it. I watched like every video in the first 2 weeks, so it was pretty cool. But
That's great.
yeah, he's helped me a lot. And those 3 tournaments I finished all inside the top 10. So he's definitely helped me a lot just on my mental game, which is something I really needed to improve on in the beginning of the season. So I'm glad he's helped me a lot.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Can
Pat,
I come back? Can I
yeah,
come back in
we'll
on
let
this
you.
now?
We'll let
Okay.
you.
Let me play off that just a little bit. Do you find that and I know Stephen very well.
Mm.
Do you think that has helped with your stamina as well throughout the season? Because physically it's one thing, you're doing the Pilates, you're doing all these other things, and physically it's a little bit easier to take care of, but mentally, if you're not really on your game or on point, it can drain you just as much as the physical part, in some cases more. Do you think now that you're working with him that helps you regulate your emotions, helps you regulate what thought processes are going on? So even when you're not playing your best in a particular, tournament or round or what have you, that you're able to refocus so that you don't end up going down into the pit, because that's very easy for a lot of players if you're not playing very well. Have you seen a difference in how you're playing now overall? I mean, you said obviously it's helped you in the first little bit, but as the season's progressing, are you seeing? I mean, obviously you've won, but are you seeing a change in how you're handling the season differently?
Absolutely. Yeah, so I would say 2 tournaments ago, it was actually, no, it was right before we went to Oregon, so 2 weeks ago. I was not feeling, all the best. I kind of felt like a little bit burnt out, but it wasn't like physically or anything. I was just like, I think I was just trying so hard to secure my card and be on the LPGA and just get up there in the rank. Like I was trying to play the ranking game too much in my head.
Mm-hmm.
And so I talked to Steve about it, and I was like, "Hey, like I'm working really hard. Like I think I might be working, the hardest out of any of these girls out here because I'm out there all day every day, and I'm just not seeing the results that I want to see. Like I'm in practice I played great, but then in tournament I just like I don't play as good as I want to. Nothing's really falling my way even though I'm hitting great shots. And he was like, well, he was just telling me I was forcing it too much and saying that whatever that goal was in my head was a DNA goal. So obviously, basically he worded it saying somebody wouldn't remind me it's a good idea to finish inside the top 10 by the end of the season, so why would I remind myself that every single day and just obsess over that thought? And that really stuck with me, and I just kept repeating that to myself in my head, and it helped me free up on the golf course and feel and have a lot more freedom, when I was hitting tricky shots or just any kind of shot during the tournament. Because I mean, playing competitive golf is hard already, but playing with like a card on the line is like even tougher, especially it being my first year and I want to succeed obviously really badly. But no, he just really helped me with that. So yeah, I kind of went off topic.
Well, it sounds like really what he was doing was trying to get you to refocus your energy and
Yeah.
not focus on things that really don't matter. I mean, obviously it's important to you. I don't want to make light of it, but
No, totally, yeah.
if that's what you're focusing, oh, I got to get in the top 10, or I've got to get my card, I've got to do this, then you're not really focusing on the task at hand. Like, you're standing over a shot, and, is it the shot you're focused on, or is it, well, I got to make sure if I don't make this, Lord knows I'm not going to get in the top 10 today. And, so
Right.
really what he's saying is he's redirecting your focus into what's really important. What important is now, because you can't predict the future. I mean, you can pray for the future, you can hope for the future, but you can't really predict the future. The past has already happened, so you only have now. So how are you going to spend your now? Are you going to spend your now one shot at a time, and then whatever happens, happens? Or are you going to worry about things that you have no control over because they haven't happened yet? Right? And that's
Totally.
I
Yeah.
think really what he's trying to do. Who inspired you both in and outside of the game? Obviously, your father was an early inspiration. So I was outside, but are there players that you watched growing up as a younger, you're only 19, but as a younger person, that you really wanted to aspire to, not necessarily emulate, but really inspired you to want to play the game? So was there players on the tours that you really looked up? Said, boy, I really like how they play, or I'd like to be like that one day. Give us your thoughts.
Yeah, I would say Annika Sorenstam. She is like an idol to me. Just what she does on and off the golf course is really special because she wants to grow, the women's game and especially the younger generation. And that's like I met her when I was 11 years old or 12 years old, at one of her Share My Passion clinics. And I was inspired so much. And she actually, so I qualified for the drive, chip, and putt that year, and she gave me my like letter invitation to Augusta. So that was super special for me, just to share that. And then a couple years later, I ended up winning her tournament, the Annika Invitational, AJGA in Florida. So we've kind of kept in touch over the last couple of years, which has been really nice. Just because she's such a great person to know and just an amazing just person, and she loves to grow the game.
Yeah, she's been a great ambassador for the game in general, but particularly for women's golf. I mean, she went out there. Much that sounds you're very similar, very driven, and very focused on your game, and not really letting a lot of outside influences come in. And when she was out in the golf course during her time, there was nobody that worked harder. I mean, and that's why she dominated. So, if you sort of follow a similar path, I think you're going to be very much like that when you get out on the LPGA, and you're doing that now here as you're starting to become a better player. And I think that surrounding yourself by good people and understanding the priorities of what you have to do out there in the golf course, and that is you've got to play that game, and you've got to play shot by shot and not allow other things to distract you. So I think that's good. You're on a good path. And again, congratulations on the wins this year. And I think you might have one more left in you. We'll see. And
yeah, I feel one coming.
so it might be next week. Might be the Tour Championship. You got that coming up in California, so that'll be kind of close to home turf. It's a few miles away, but it's kind of close to the home turf. But anyways, we want to thank you, Yana, for joining us this morning. We appreciate it. Again, congratulations on the wins, particularly your win this past weekend. And thank you for taking time and joining Cindy and I this morning. We really we appreciate you joining us.
Way
Thank
to
you
go,
guys so
honey.
much.
Good
All
luck.
right.
Thank you. I
All right, we're going to
appreciate
take a
it.
quick commercial break. And when we return, you guys will be joining Cindy and I in the No BS zone. And we're going to talk about what is the 80-20 rule in golf. So we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Karen Jansen, LPGA Master Teaching Professional and National Academy of Sports Medicine Certified Personal Trainer, and I'm very excited to share with you my Cardio Golf online subscription. Professional golfers know the importance of athletic development for golf. As a recreational golfer, you might not have the time to train like an elite athlete, but by simply adding a few golf-specific exercises and swing drills into your daily routine, you can dramatically improve your game, and you can do it at home with Cardio Golf. I have various pieces of equipment to help you train indoors, away from the golf course, like the Cardio Golf Shorty Club. This club is short so that you can swing inside, you're not going to hit the ceilings or the walls. The Cardio Golf Slope. This is great to simulate an uphill and a downhill lie. You know, the ones that you get on the golf course, but there's nowhere ever to practice. We also use this as a fitness step. I also have various pieces of equipment from Golf Gym, like the Powerball and the Power Bands, to help you improve your strength and flexibility. Join me every week as I take you through workouts that are going to help you shape your swing and trim your score. Start a free trial today. Go to cardiogolf.com.
Welcome back. And as I said just before we took a break, it's time to dip into the No BS zone here on the Women of Golf show. And Cindy, this is an article. I don't imagine you maybe had a chance to read it. It was just posted up there just a few days ago, and it's called "What is the 80-20 rule in golf?" It's definitely a good article, very more bullet point, but there's a lot of good things in here. And basically, what it is, and I'm going to read you just a short little intro so that people understand. So it's based on a principle, if you will, of a gentleman by the name of Pareto. And so in golf, the 80-20 rule, also known as the Pareto principle, suggests that roughly 80% of your results come from 20% of your actions or efforts. So this principle can be applied to various aspects of the game, from swing mechanics to practice routines and even course strategy. So again, what it's really saying is you can focus on certain parts of your game that can yield you an 80% result. So for instance, putting might be one that you want to focus on, that can, by becoming a better putter, can actually increase the percentage of success out in the golf course. And we're going to get into specifics here in just a minute. So people might say, okay, well, how can I be, how can this be applied to golf? What is it in for me? So let's talk about swing mechanics. So the first one is a key application. I'm not going to do them all, but a key application is recognizing that a large portion of the swing is a reaction to the initial action. So many golfers over control the swing rather than allowing natural reactions to the initial movements. So I think that's a true statement in the sense that a lot of people try to force it. Really the object is to get the club face back square at impact so that you're able to make good contact with the ball. But a lot of people try to manipulate, so they don't let the natural swing of the golf club control what happens. They try to manipulate, try to force it by changing things in their golf swing or changing their movement. So that's an important thing. Would you agree with that? And just if you want to add some thoughts as well, that in the respect that a lot of golfers do try to over control the swing. Would you agree with that first off? And maybe you might have an example of what you've seen with some of your students, how they try to over control it.
Yeah. Most golfers try to control the club because they think they have to try to help hit the ball. And really what they have to do is swing the club and allow the club to do the work. And then if they do that, the club will hit the ball, but they all try to help it and come down from the top and try to get it to go down rather than allow it to swing, and it will go down. Therefore, most of my time is spent getting them to relax, to allow the club to swing. Therefore, it'll hit the ball, and then they go, oh, that was easy. Yeah, it was, wasn't it? And that's why when you watch LPGA Tour players or Epson Tour players swing, they look like they're not even trying, and they hit the ball really far with very little effort.
Yeah, and very consistent. And this was one of the other points, which goes to what you just said, and that is to allow the gravity and the weight of the club to guide your swing rather than trying to impose excessive force. So in other words, rather than trying to force the club down into that position, just allow the natural. So you're swinging the golf club and allowing the weight of the club to be able to dictate what's going to happen. And if you set up correctly, if your fundamentals are sound, then it's going to do the right thing. But if you try to manipulate and you try to force what the golf club is going to do or guide it in any way, then 9 times out of 10, you're going to get yourself into a bad place. And as you said, that's what a lot of golfers do, and especially in the amateur. So we're going to go to the second area, and that is practice routine. So I think practicing or prioritizing practice the areas of your game that yield the most significant improvements in your score. So first you have to, and we're going to talk about that, identifying weaknesses in a little bit, but basically what you need to do is you need to look at your game and say, okay, where am I losing the most strokes? So what's that 20% of my game that if I focused on, that I'm going to gain better results, 80% effort?
Well, it would depend.
Right. It's going to vary.
Most people,
the same,
yeah,
yes,
and most people don't do stats. You know, I had a student that came and she played 9 holes for the first time. She goes, I'm going to bring you the scorecard. And I said, well, I don't really care about the scorecard. Tell me the story that goes with the card. What do you mean? I said, well, if you tell me if you hit the fairway and if you hit it on the green, you know, for a brand new player, I'd like you to try to be on the green in par. Well, what's that mean? If it's a par 3, try to be on in 3 and 2 putt. You know, a par 4 be on the green in 4 and 2 putt. Par 5 be on in 5 and 2 putt. Oh, well, no, I was on, and then I 4 or 5 or 6 putted. I said, okay, well, that means you putted terrible.
right.
So now let's learn to putt better. So if we spent, you know, because she just wants to hit her driver. Well, that's
Right.
dumb. You don't need to hit your driver. You're hitting your driver great. So now we know that if you spent 80% of your time, you know, or 20% of your time, you're going to fix 80% of your shots and
Right.
score way better.
Right, exactly.
So,
And that is, again, you know, focusing on that. So instead of practicing everything, focus on that 20% of your game that's going to give you the biggest returns in terms of scoring. But that doesn't mean you neglect the areas that you're already good at, but you allocate more time to the areas that need improvement. So that's really what the principle is based on. So then we come into core strategies, another one. So you want to concentrate on the aspects of game that have the greatest impact on your score. So for example, maybe a few well-paced drives, maybe solid approaches, or efficient short game can significantly lower your score. Focus on getting the ball close to the hole. Obviously, when chipping is proximity to the hole can significantly increase the chance of successful up and down. So use the 80-20 rule, if you will, to guide your club selection when chipping. So by visualizing the landing spot, the desired rollout, rather than focusing on solely on the flag. Everybody say, okay, I'm going to focus on the flag. So focus on particular things that are going to yield the improvement. And that's part of core strategy. So again, this is how, you know, and I'm going to point something out at the very end of this discussion, but about the 80-20 rule, because it's not obviously just for golf, but you have to find what it is that's giving you like you just pointed out, putting was something. She was hitting the ball well, but her putting stunk. So that would be an area that she could spend, you know, that 20%, but would yield 80% better results for her. And that's really what the principle is that we're talking about. So again, core strategy is you want to apply that rule when you're thinking. And again, you can't always do it when you're out in the golf course because you've got other thoughts. But when you're practicing, as you're organizing and preparing to play, that's when you can apply this rule. And eventually it'll become natural in your thought process. When you get out on the golf course, you'll start to say, okay, yeah, I remember now, this is the area that I have to really focus on out here. Let's just make a good shot here and let's move on, and not dwell and get into areas that you're already very proficient in. And want to add some thoughts to that?
no, it's totally true.
Right.
You're right. But again, you have to be aware of what you're doing when you're on the course. And sometimes we choose not to look in the mirror and understand what we're doing wrong. And most people, when they come to a lesson, I need to hit my driver better. And your driver's not the one that's giving you a problem. Or if it is, why don't you tee off with a 3-wood? You know, most people don't break 100 And if you teed off with your 3-wood or even a hybrid, you could break 90. Well, I don't want to do that. Okay, then keep hitting your driver in the woods and out of bounds.
Right.
Just do what you need to do to score better.
Right. And this is what brings us to the last point, and that is identifying weaknesses. Is you want to analyze your game. This is something that you can work with your coach or your teach professional, and you want to analyze and pinpoint the areas that are holding you back. So it might be putting, it could be chipping, could be a combination of things. And it typically is something that if you spent more time focusing on would increase the results of your game by as much as 80%. So if you're let's take as an example, as you pointed out, driver, if you're already a really good driver and say you're going out for a 30-minute practice session before you play, or you're going out to, warm up, why are you spending 60, 70% of your time teeing off the range when 80% of your game is not off the tee where you're having the problems? It's somewhere else. So that's what it's really talking about, is instead of spending too much areas in areas that you're already proficient in, focus on improving your weakest areas. And by addressing the most impactful areas of your game, you can achieve significant improvement with less effort. That's the whole principle of the 80-20, is that with just as much as 20% effort, you can yield 80% results that are going to make your life so much easier out in the golf course. But people do it the other way around. They're thinking they're already 80% proficient in an area, and they spend no time at all on these other areas. And just with a little bit more effort, you don't have to, stop hitting tee shots. You don't have to stop, right? I mean, am I not speaking the?
Well, sometimes they like being miserable.
I think misery loves company. I really do. I think it loves company. And I think that a lot of people get out there and they don't understand that that you have to analyze your game. And that's really what a lot of pros do. They do an assessment, throughout the year. They'll do it at the beginning of the year. Sometimes they'll do it, partway through, a follow-up assessment, and then maybe even at the end of the year, sort of a recap of everything. But you also have to be honest with yourself. And, if you're, for instance, Yana talked about that she used to like, hitting the tee shots, but when she got the ball in the bunker, she didn't know what to do. So,
that she'd make a 10.
I mean, obviously she was a kid at the time, but again, that rings true for a lot of our amateur golfers who've been playing for 20, 30, 40 years. They get into a style, well, I'm not very good at bunkers. Well, why not? You never practice them. That's why.
Right.
So if you want, and again, bunkers is a little bit different because, I mean, you're not always finding yourself in a bunker. But if your putting is bad, the short game is the one that has the bullseye on its back, because that's where people lose, probably, I would say 60, 70% of their strokes is in the short game, whether it's chipping, putting, and pitch shots and things like that. So if you're, a pretty good ball striker all the way around, but your short game stinks, well, you're going to lose. Just as you pointed out, you're with a young student getting on the green and 2, but then 3, 4, 5 putting because they're a terrible putter.
Right.
So why would you spend all your time on the range hitting golf balls when you need to be on the putting green?
Right.
Make sense?
Yes.
So this is why I did this. It's very bullet point. There's, I don't give you a lot of meat because I want people to think about it. I want you to be really honest with yourselves out there. And I'm speaking obviously to you out there that are going to be seeing this podcast, is what we really want to do. And I've been doing this. I had read an article years ago on the Pareto's principle, and he was a very, wise man. He came up with this, and I said that I was going to, as we got close to wrapping this up, this is something you can apply in every aspect of your life. It's not just golf. It's in business. It's in life. Where you put your effort is what results you're going to get. So if you're putting it in areas that you're already good at, if you're somebody that, you can take any aspect of your life, that doesn't mean that you forget about that and chuck it aside. You never work on that. But if there's areas of your life that are going to improve substantially what you get out of life, and I don't mean monetarily or physically or anything like that, but just joy. Let's say put it in joy. If this is going to give you more joy in your life, why would you not want to focus on those areas that maybe need some improvement? Same thing with your business life. If you're spending all of your efforts over here and you're not really focusing on areas that are going to greatly improve your business acumen, then why would you not want to do that? It doesn't make any sense. So this is really what he was talking about. I mean, he was not talking about golf. I just sort of applied it to golf, but it does make a lot of sense, is that people spend the majority of their time on things that they're already good at and very little time on areas that need improvement. And if they would just reshift some of that focus, even 20% of that focus onto an area, they could see potentially as much as 80%. And you can actually take those numbers. You could actually do it 90-10, 70-30. He just did 80-20 because that was sort of the happy medium, but you could adjust it again, depending on your abilities. But that's really, if you think about it, that 80-20 rule is something that can be applied in any aspect of your life. In this particular case, we're applying it to golf. And I would challenge you, Cindy, because you work with a lot of young golfers, to really help them to analyze that, have that, I know you do anyways, but just to have that conversation and maybe even, read through the article on golftipsmag.com and just, have a conversation with them at some point and just say, how can we make a change in what you're doing to see 80% more result with actually less effort, but focused in the right places, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. Yep.
You get me?
Yep.
Okay. So again, in conclusion, by applying the 80-20 rule to your golf game, you'll begin to see results and steady improvement. So you'll also experience overall confidence and enjoyment of the game. So I always say it's time to start having fun again. So give it a try. I think you'll love that.
Perfect.
So again, I want people to go and read the article. We just touched on a few points, and I think that 80-20 rule again can apply in all aspects, but it can definitely apply in your golf game. So I encourage people to go. So go to golftipsmag.com, and the article's there right front and center. You'll see it, and I think it's very concise and to the point. So I just want to remind people of a few things. There's a special promotion going on for the next few days. First off, if you want to watch this episode or any of the previously aired episodes, you can visit the iGolf Sports YouTube channel, or you can go to spotify.com. You can also catch the audio version only if you want. Just go to Spreaker.com or basically wherever you listen to podcasts. And don't forget to subscribe to the iGolf Sports YouTube channel or even on Spotify, and you'll get notified as new episodes drop weekly. I got a special offer from Golf Tips Mag for this Labor Day from now through September 1st, 25% off the regular price of a Golf Tips Premium membership. So to become a premium membership, you go to golftipsmag.com and enter at checkout, you enter promo code GolfTips25, all one word. 3 membership levels available: silver, gold, or platinum. So we got one for every budget. And by joining, you'll get access to premium instructional tips from our top 25 instructors, including videos and the latest golf news and equipment product reviews, plus top travel destinations just in time to book your next buddy trip. You'll also receive special discounts from our many premium partners like Cardio Golf, Shot Scope, Shoe Linkswear, Encore Golf, Sky Caddy, the Indoor Golf Shop, and Golf Breaks, just to name a few. And there's more coming on board as we speak. So again, now through September 1st, get 25% off our regular membership price by using promo code GolfTips25. So register today and save big at golftipsmag.com. So on that note, Cindy, again, a special thanks to our guest, Yana Wilson. Again, congratulations. Thanks for joining us this morning. And thank you, my partner, for always being here and giving some great input to the show. And I enjoy being with you each and every week. So we'll be back next week, Cindy and I, as we invite another guest to join us and another discussion as well. Possibly in the No B.S. zone, we might just have a discussion. We'll leave that up to next week, won't we, with Cindy?
We will.
All right.
Have a great day.
All right. Have a great day. God bless everybody. We'll see you next week right here in the Women of Golf.
Thank you for joining us. We hope you enjoyed listening to this week's Women of Golf show. Ted and Cindy wish to thank this week's special guests. Remember to join them every Tuesday from 9 to 10 a.m. Eastern here on the iGolf Sports Network, or on any of these social media platforms: iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, CastBox, TalkStream Live, and of course Spotify. To get updates on the show, you can follow the Women of Golf's Facebook page at www.facebook.com/womenofgolf. This has been a production of the iGolf Sports Network.